Okay, it's 2 o'clock, so I'm going to go ahead and get us started. My name is Sharon Bonney. I'm the CEO for the Coalition on Adult Basic Education, and I am really excited about this presentation we're going to do today on IBM SkillsBuild for a few reasons. First, I think it's great that there are over 11,000 badges and credentials that can help increase your adult learners' employability skills. They're third-party verified by trusted sources and leaders. So to me, that's really exciting. And when former Assistant Secretary Scott Stump introduced us to IBM Skills Build, we really felt that this could be something that would really help the field. So that's a little about why we're so excited about this. We're going to also introduce the presenters individually, but I will just quickly go through their names and they can raise their hand. So we have Anais Shriek. She's with IBM SkillsBuild. Thanks, Anais. We have Maureen Hebert. She's with our COABE pilot program. And Mandy Rose, who is also with our COABE pilot program. And we have Bethel Fernandez, who's on for technical support. So we will, of course, I'm going to give them their bios and that sort of thing a little bit later, but I just wanted to take a minute there to introduce them. So what are the ways these badges can be used? We know that they can be used on transcripts, resumes, and on your LinkedIn account, which we think is really exciting, and we feel this will have a lot of value for the adult learner. So I'm going to stop here. I had briefly mentioned Anais Shriek. I'm going to read her bio to you. I want to make sure I capture all of the important details, so I'm going to actually read it. And then I'm going to stop sharing, and Anais is going to take it from here. So Anais is Digital Success Manager at IBM, in charge of enabling nonprofit partners on the SkillsBuild platform. SkillsBuild is a free digital platform that gives every adult learner the opportunity to develop technology and professional skills regardless of background, education, or life experience. Anais has a degree in design from the University of Michigan and a master's degree in teaching from Sorbonne University. Having worked in various startups for over the years, she knows firsthand how valuable technology skills are in today's world. So with that, I'll stop sharing and turn this over to Anais.
Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, everyone, for joining today. I'm thrilled to be here. Like Sharon said, my role is Digital Success Manager at IBM, and basically my job is to share this amazing platform with our nonprofit partners across the country. I just love it. Like she said, I have a background in education and in technology, and SkillsBuild is really kind of the perfect intersection of those two fields. It truly has the power to change people's lives. And I'm thrilled to be here showing you all about it. So with that, I'm going to pull up some slides and explain a little bit more about the why and what this is, and then we'll jump into a live demo of the platform. All right, so can we see the Microsoft or the PowerPoint presentation?
We can. Looks great.
Okay, great. So like I mentioned, I just want to talk to you first a bit about the why and where SkillsBuild fits in to the workplace of today. So, as I'm sure most of you know, tech and jobs have changed faster than the industry can follow. There's actually a gap between work demand and the availability of skills. And there is a huge demand for entry-level tech professionals in the technology industry. And us at IBM, we know firsthand that we have these positions that we're looking to fill, and there's kind of a lack in skills. But many of these jobs actually don't require a 4-year degree, as it's all about knowing the skills. So I'll get a little bit more into that later. But here's a statistic for you. By 2022, 42% of all jobs will require new skills such as analytics or design thinking, in addition to soft skills such as complex problem solving. These are all skills that we have offered through SkillsBuild to our nonprofit partners and their beneficiaries. So I kind of touched on this already, but digital skills are in short supply. And because of everything that's happened over the past year with the pandemic, we know that there are a lot of people out of work right now looking to maybe reskill and upskill to re-enter the workforce and land higher paying jobs and work their way up that way. So SkillsBuild helps connect the dots there. So basically what SkillsBuild is IBM has its own internal learning that employees are encouraged to take. We are encouraged to take about 40 hours of learning per year, and our learning is hosted on a platform called Your Learning. And as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, and we saw this need for upskilling that job seekers had. So we took our internal learning and opened it up to the world through SkillsBuild. So SkillsBuild is relatively new, but it is purely a corporate social responsibility initiative. So we're here to offer this to underserved populations, and your learners will never have to pay any fees. This is all free. This is because we believe so strongly in the mission here. So I'll just kind of read through these bullet points. SkillsBuild offers free industry-leading tech content from IBM and experts in online learning. And down here at the bottom, you can see a list of the content providers. So it's not only offered through IBM, but we have partnerships with all of these different content providers to provide this free learning content. So we have curated IT learning paths and industry-recognized digital badges. It's all hosted on IBM's cognitive learning platform called Your Learning. SkillsBuild uses Watson technology, which is our artificial intelligence technology, to help learners find, recommend, and track their skills development. So, I'm going to jump to the platform next and show you what I mean by that. And we actually offer some reporting capabilities. So I'll show you kind of what data you can see. You can see which activities your learners are completing, when they complete them, what badges they're earning, and so on. You can highlight certain learning plans to learners. We've actually created a highlight for COABE, and I'm going to show you what that looks like in just a moment. And really the mission here is that we are fostering workplace talent. We want to promote diversity and inclusion in the workplace. We want to help level the playing field because job seekers no longer necessarily need that 4-year degree to get great job opportunities. And so that's what SkillsBuild is for. So here I have a slide that shows kind of the 4 types of badges on our platform. Most of these are beginner friendly, so someone doesn't need prior experience in technology. The goal here is that we have enough content to teach the skills needed for a job seeker to land an entry-level role in technology. So first we have our digital foundations badges. These cover things like professional skills, job application essentials, Agile Explorer, and so on. I'll show you a bit more about our badges in a minute. And then we have our role-based, knowledge-based badges. So these are things like customer service, data analysis, and cybersecurity. And then we have this advanced badge, and I think with time, we'll continue to develop more of these. This one is the IBM Z System Administrator badge. This one is quite intensive. It takes about 200 hours or so to complete, but someone who goes through this path would eventually have the opportunity to apply for an apprenticeship with IBM, and there are a lot of exciting opportunities from there. So we're really trying to help bridge the gap to work opportunities within and without IBM. Hopefully all of you can help us connect your job seekers to external job openings as well. And then finally, we have some additional badges offered by IBM Cognitive class, things like data analysis with Python, Cloud Essentials, Enterprise Thinking, Blockchain, etc. So that's kind of just an overview. Most of these badges take between 5 and 10 hours to complete. It's all self-paced. Learners can get in and dedicate a few hours per day maybe to earning their badge. And then, within a week or 2, they will have this digital credential that they can display proudly on their LinkedIn, on their resume, or on a transcript like Sharon mentioned before. So in addition to those badges, we also have partnerships with both Fortinet and Red Hat. And these are big players in the tech industry. And through our partnerships with them, we offer a series of certificates and certifications that are industry recognized. We offer all of the training for their certificates, and then SkillsBuild learners can also request a voucher for the exams because they are coming in through SkillsBuild to earn these certificates at no cost to them. So that's huge because these certificates, the training, and the actual exam fees can be quite costly. I mean, this could put someone out thousands of dollars really if they were to work towards these certificates externally. So, these are very IT focused, of course, but if you think you might have learners interested in either network security or system administration, we have just the learning plans for them. Okay, so I'm going to transition over and lead a live demo into the platform, but I can't actually see the chat right now. So I wonder if maybe I should take a second and answer any questions.
So I've been monitoring the chat, and I think we're in a pretty good place. We have a few questions in the Q&A, but we can even hold them till the end, if you're okay with that.
That sounds great. Thanks, Sharon. Okay, so we are now looking at the SkillsBuild platform. And when you first log in, you will actually be taken to this page. This only comes up the first time you log in, but here you and your learners can select some different topics that you're interested in, and this will help tailor the experience to you, and the platform will make some recommendations this way. So this is optional, but it's helpful just to let the platform know what you're looking for. And then there's just this second step to verify your profile information. And then we're taken here. This is the SkillsBuild platform. And because I selected data analyst on that previous page, see they're actually recommending a career path right here. So based on your homepage, these are called spotlights. And as you can see, we've curated one just for COABE. And I'm going to click in and show you this in a moment. This is where we're recommending that everybody starts. And I'll show you what's in there in just a moment. So then here, there are some quick links to different things to explore more learning, to take our career assessment. I'll show you those next. This tab here, learning, these actually are the same thing as what you can find up here. You can find your channel subscriptions, your learning queue, your required learning, your completions. And we'll get into all of that as well. Here we can find recommendations. Same thing, this tab is the same as what you see on this screen. And what's really helpful here, what I wanted to show you is that if you scroll down far enough, you can find your recent activity. So at any time when you're coming through here or your learners are working on the platform, you don't have to finish everything you're working on at once. You can stop at any time. The platform will keep track of your progress, and you can actually jump right back in where you left off. So that's just kind of a tip for you for navigating. And then at the bottom, we have some recommended learning. This is also based on those interests that I selected on the last page. So next, I'm going to jump in and show you this content that was curated just for you by the COABE team. All right, it's going to ask you to start tracking your progress. You can just click Not Now. Here we have a message from Sharon, our lovely CEO. She put a lot of thought and work into this learning plan. I'm going to show you what it's broken down in different sections. So first, we have some quick videos to help you learn about the platform. And there's kind of some other navigation tips and things in there. Next, we have this task. It's called Join the SkillsBuild community. We've made it optional. Basically, what this is, if you decide to go in and join the community space is where our platform team will be posting updates about the platform. So things like new content, things like bug fixes or maintenance issues and things like that, our platform team will be communicating to you and all of our nonprofit partners from here. So if you feel like that's something that you want to be on top of, feel free to go in and see the community. Next, we have our first badge, and it's the professional skills badge. And you can see here what each different section is. So we have present with purpose, collaborate effectively, interpersonal skills, deliver quality work with agility, and then solving problems with critical and creative thinking, I believe that is. And the way a badge works is there's no final exam at the end. There's no kind of final test. There are quick checkpoint quizzes throughout just to make sure that the learner is understanding the material. But once you've completed all of the content, you will be issued the badge automatically. It can take up to 48 hours for that to arrive. So that might be a question that you get if your learners reach out and say, I finished the badge, where is it? They might just have to sit tight and wait for a day or two. They will receive an email from Credly with instructions on how to claim and display their badge. So next we have the job application essentials badge. So here we have these 4 topics: develop your brand using social media, focus your direction with workplace research, create a great resume, ace your professional interview. So it's the same thing here. Once you've completed all of those courses, you'll automatically get the badge from Credly. And then finally, we have some additional courses. These aren't badges or anything, but this is the Indeed Career Guide, which of course will be helpful for job seekers and your clients that you work with. So this is where we're recommending that everybody starts, and you'll see the spotlight right on your homepage. You'll see the COABE logo. That's how you get to here. But of course, we have plenty of content outside of this. And so I want to show you kind of how to navigate what we have and what some of the cool features are on the platform so you can continue to explore. And I might be getting ahead of myself here, but we do plan on registering all of you attendees to the platform after this call, so you can get in for yourselves and poke around and figure out, how this would work for your particular learners. Okay, so I'm gonna hop back over to the SkillsBuild homepage. So one of the really exciting things that we have is that we've partnered with My Inner Genius to offer a career assessment. And you can get to that assessment either from up here under the recommendations tab. There's this career assessment button here. Or if you scroll down a bit, you can click here on take a career assessment. Those will take you to the same place. And what the career assessment looks like, it's hosted on My Inner Genius. It takes about an hour and 15 minutes. It does require uninterrupted focus and intention, but if someone takes this and gets distracted or doesn't finish, you can retake the assessment. You just have to wait 2 days before it'll let you get back in, but you can take it over and over again if you need to. And this tests things like working memory, ability to type, basic addition, quick thinking, problem solving, all these different things. And then it actually breaks down your results and gives you a really interesting look at where your skills fall, and will even make recommendations to certain career paths. So let me just show you what that looks like. My recommendation here, they told me I'd be great at being a customer engagement specialist. And you can actually hover over this graph, and we can see in green is where your skills fall. In gray is where the system deems, the skills are needed for this particular role. So you get a really detailed look at your results. It's really interesting, and I would recommend most people to at least come in and start here, especially if you have people who maybe don't even know where to begin. And then underneath that, you'll actually be pointed directly to a learning path in SkillsBuild for that particular role. So that's a really exciting opportunity that we have. Unfortunately, this won't work. My Inner Genius won't work on a smartphone, but Other than this, most of our platform is mobile friendly. There's no app, but if you navigate to the website, most of the courses, if not all of them, other than Minor Genius, are mobile friendly. More than 50% of our current SkillsBuild learners actually access the platform through their smartphones. Okay, so I talked about the career assessment. I talked about our COABE learning plan. Next, I want to just quickly show you what a badge looks like, what that does, what that means. So what you can do with the badge is actually display it right on your LinkedIn page. So here I have some examples that I've put on mine, but this lives on your profile. Recruiters, potential employers can come in and see what you've accomplished. They don't expire, and the employers can click in to see what this credential is, what this person did to earn it. This is all, hosted through Credly, a very reputable source. These are industry recognized professional badges. So that's definitely something that will help set job seekers apart and stand out to recruiters. And something else that we can see from our badges, I'm going to hop back over to SkillsBuild. Bear with me. I have so many different things I want to show. I feel like I'm kind of jumping around, but this is being recorded. So hopefully you don't need to take notes or anything. You can come back and watch later. So from the badge, I'm hopping back into our learning plan to show you an example. If we click on the learning badge, so this is the professional skills badge. We can go and look at it. We can view it in Credly. And what's exciting here is if we scroll down a bit, there are job postings. So you can either see by job title. I'm going to click on show more. We can see job openings by title, by location, by salary ranges, top employers, top related skills. So this is put together by Credly, but these are job postings that they found that match up with the skills that were earned from completing this learning badge. So why don't we just take an example? Let's look at consumer loan specialist. Let's see what comes up. We have all these job titles. We have location, we have an estimated salary, and people can go in and apply to jobs this way. So beyond our learning plan, beyond the Minor Genius assessment, we have thousands and thousands of other learning activities and curated content for learners to explore. So if you want to keep looking for other topics, I suggest coming here, scroll down and click on Explore Learning and Badges. And here we have a great list of the different badges, the different learning plans, the different certificates, and you can click around and explore this way. So if you see this symbol, that means that it's a badge. So we have customer service representative badges, cybersecurity, this is a badge, and then these are some of those certificates offered by Fortinet. And you can click right in and find the learning content that way, so you don't feel overwhelmed trying to navigate the platform on your own. So next we have a series of badges for data analysts. We have enterprise design thinking. We have this IBM Z system administrator badge. I won't read through everything now, but definitely get in here and click around and check out the different offerings that we have, because there's so much to explore. And some of these courses, learning plans won't lead to a badge. We don't have badges for every single activity, but learners can still download a transcript of their completions and share that with potential employers. So I'm going to show you how to find your learning transcript next. So from SkillsBuild, we come up to the Learning tab, and I'll click on My Completions, your completions right here. being slow, of course. There we go. So if we click on View All, so here we can see all of our completed learnings, and we can download a completion report. So this is just 2021. It's broken down by year. I guess you'll probably only be focusing on 2021 for now, but then come the new year, you can download 2022 report when the time comes. And it'll give you an Excel file with exactly all of this information, what the content was, how long it took, when the learner completed it. And that's something that learners can take and display proudly and share with employers to show them all this work that they've put into their upskilling and reskilling and their education. So, okay, I'm showing you so many things today, but I also want to show you kind of how to keep track of what your learners are completing in the platform. So I'll come back to the home page. And when we register learners, we will assign them to a manager. We have room to assign up to 2 managers. So if there are multiple people from the same program, when you're ready to register your learners, we'll have to select 2 managers, and those 2 managers can do what I'm about to show. So from this team tab, we click on your team. And so I'm actually not managing anybody. It gets a little buggy when I try to do this, but I can pull up somebody else's to show you what this looks like. So I'll just pull up my colleague. And what you can see is you can actually see, by learner, how many hours they've completed, what badges they've earned. You can click on a particular person to see which activities they've completed. You can see this person earned the mindfulness badge. You can see the completion date. So there's this really great dashboard that you can click through and look at what everyone's been doing. If there are more than 2 of you at your organization and you need to kind of share this information with the broader team, whoever has this information can download the team completion report, and it'll give you a nice Excel file that you can share internally with your team. And this is a great place to kind of check in on your learners, see if they've gotten in at all. If they haven't, you might follow up with them, or if it's been a little while, you might want to give them a little nudge and encourage them to get back into the platform. But this is really a great tool if you are going to be, really managing your learners on the platform. Okay, so I next want to talk a bit about logging into the platform, because I feel like I need to explain this quickly. Let me just quickly log out to show you the login page. So the way we register learners to SkillsBuild is that we have to do it on our side. COABE has a team who will be taking care of our user registrations for us. And so learners have to wait until they are registered before they can come into this platform. And we register them with their full name and their email address. So once somebody is registered to SkillsBuild, they will receive an email from SkillsBuild that says, "Welcome to SkillsBuild, begin your learning journey," et cetera, et cetera. Once they receive that email, that means that they've been registered. And now this is the login page. And depending on where they received that email, that determines how they can log into the platform. So if the email that they were registered with is a Google account, they can log in with Google. If the email address that they were registered with is the email address that they use to log into LinkedIn, they can select the login with LinkedIn option. If the email address is what they use to log in with Facebook, they can select the Facebook option. If none of these options are applicable, then they can use the IBM option. What you need to know is what you'll have to do is sign up for IBM. It's totally free. Once that's done, then they can select the login with IBM option. So I hope that's clear enough. We'll be registering all of you after this call, like I mentioned. So, definitely get in, see what the experience is like logging in. So hopefully you'll be able to advise your learners as they want to come in as well. So with that, I covered a lot. Sharon, do we want to switch over? I know I still want to talk about what all of the attendees can expect when we actually register you to the platform, but do we want to first hand it over to the COABE team?
I think so.
Stop sharing.
Great. I also wanted to mention a couple of things. So I'm going to actually introduce our presenters in just a second. But Anais, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for that quick review. And you're right. We are recording this. We're going to share it and store it on the IBM SkillsBuild page that COABE has built. So it'll always be there. I see some general questions like, will we get a certificate? Will people who are not on this webinar be able to access it? So I just want to answer that really quickly and say, everybody that's attending this webinar will receive a certificate of attendance. If they're not attending the webinar, they can still access the archive, which will be placed on the IBM SkillsBuild page. So just wanted to mention that really quickly. I also want to mention, if you have questions, please put them in the Q&A. We literally have hundreds and hundreds of people on, and so it's hard to locate the questions in the chat. Please put them in the Q&A, and we'll do our best to get through them. Whatever we don't get through, we will circle back after the fact, and we will be sure to answer them. So with that, Anais, I know we're going to come back to you in just a minute. So thank you for that. I wanted to see if Bethel Fernandez, if you're able to share your video. So Bethel Fernandez is the person who's going to be providing quite a bit of support behind the scenes along with Mariah Sampson. They are from the COABE office. They are the technical background. So they'll be the people when you have questions about how do I get all of my adult learners on? They'll be the people behind the scenes who will be helping you with that. We'll give Bethel just a minute. While she's doing that, I'm going to also share my screen here. Here we go. And let me just make sure I'm in the right present mode. I see I have you up still, Anais. There's Bethel. Bethel, can you unmute yourself? You're welcome to say a few words if you'd like to our audience.
Hello, I'm Bethel Fernandez. I worked for COABE for about 4 years now. I will be one of the contacts if you have any questions or concerns or just need help with the website or logging in or anything like that. You can just reach me. My email is info@coabe.org. I can also put that in the chat for everyone as well. I'd be happy to answer any questions. My email is also on the website as well. So just reach out to me. I'll probably get back to you within an hour. So, but just nice to see everybody and meet everybody. Thanks.
Thank you, Bethel. Bethel has been wonderful to work with. For those of you who have attended our conference, you know that she's the person on the other end of all those emails who gets right back to you same day.
Yeah.
So thank you, Bethel. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yes. We also set up an IBM SkillsBuild at coabe.org email address. And so Mariah Sampson will also be answering that. So you've got 2 layers of support there. And Anais is also available as well. So we will do our best to make sure we get back to you as quickly as possible. Many of you are aware that, as Anais said, we built out this adult education learning channel. And this is where I'm really excited to introduce you to 2 more people. We briefly met them in the beginning, Michelle Hebert from Vermont and Amanda Rose from Missouri, but I'd like to share a little bit about them with you right now. So, and they are welcome to turn on their videos when they're ready. So Maureen has worked in higher education, focusing on continuing education as well as workforce and professional development for over 25 years to support individuals and companies in realizing educational, strategic, and organizational goals. Serving over 3,200 Vermonters a year and working with hundreds of employers annually, CEWD has proven to be an integral part of the workforce and economic development in their state. So she also is a member of the NGA, so National Governors Association Reskilling Network, as well as the National Skills Coalition, as well as COABE. So Maureen, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Sharon, I'm afraid I can't share my video. You have to put that back on for me.
Okay, my apologies for that.
Thanks. Nice to meet you all.
Yes, thank you. And then I'm going to introduce Mandy real quickly. I believe we're having Maureen go first, though. But Mandy has worked in Missouri's adult education and literacy program since 2007. She comes from a social work background as well as leadership positions within the Missouri Foundation for Health grant programs. The St. Charles Community College Adult Education and Literacy Program serves approximately 800 students per year, more than half of which are English language learners. Programming includes English language instruction, high-set test preparation, college credit remediation, reading classes for literacy learners, and a choice of 4 integrated education and training programs for eligible students. So I wanted to mention this because these two ladies joined us for the COABE pilot program that we ran, which was specifically to customize this program, this platform for the field of adult education. And they invested quite a bit of time. So Maureen and Mandy, thank you so much for doing that. We really appreciate that. We know that it took this huge platform and really customized it for our field. And so I'm going to go to the next slide here. And I believe Maureen's going to share from here.
Great. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Anais. I'm really excited about this and excited about the possibilities for our learners that we work with. As you all know, keeping up with the demands of today's complex and rapidly evolving workplace means commitment to lifelong learning. And upskilling and reskilling is just something that we're all constantly having to do. And it's really necessary for organizations to guarantee that their employees are really up for their next needs. So never more so probably since this past year when we've had to adapt and adjust what the workplace looks like, how the world of work looks, and what will happen post-COVID in terms of the world of work. As Sharon mentioned, we work with 3,200 participants annually across our state and hundreds of employers. And the number one need that they ask for from us and from employees or future employees is really work readiness. And these skills are really, really clearly demarcated here by Indeed's top 11. The biggest one are communication skills, teamwork skills, interpersonal skills, strong work ethic. I hear those probably on a daily basis. Next slide, please. So what's been exciting working on this process is learning more about digital badging, which I have had some personal and professional experience with, but it really allows individuals to demonstrate their achievements in acquiring new skills. It amplifies their own personal competencies by showcasing their badges on the social media channels like LinkedIn, as we had talked about. It can show how their career has developed and their masteries of skills that are most needed in the workplace. And what's really important is it's low risk, high reward. It gives learners a chance to really grow and gain confidence while building these skills, and they can learn new skills constantly. There are currently 11,000 badges on this platform, but I imagine we'll be adding more over time as needs evolve. The SkillsBuild platform has provided a curated channel, as we discussed, to really address this need by providing third-party, verifiable, competency-based skills that are really targeted to what are needed in the workplace. And it's just in time and it's self-paced, so it's accessible and easy to use. Next slide, please. So the platform allows their partners to post job opportunities, which we talked about, and allows users to explore careers and that are in line with their skills and their individual interests. And this will evolve over time with the learner as their skills develop. Next slide, please. Some of the badges that we talked about really are those personal dynamics, the problem solving abilities, communication skills are all really critical in the day of work. Next slide, please, sorry. There are thousands of options, but a lot of what we had discussed are really those curated areas. But as I'm learning more about this platform, I'm realizing that there are so many more options for learners and organizations to be able to access the variety of tools that are available, but also demonstrate to employers and their organization that they have adapted and grown over time. So next slide, please. So I believe that it's important to really think about this as evolving and an opportunity for students and learners across organizations. I currently work for a technical college, but I also work with career and tech ed high schools. I also work with a special program called the Strengthening Working Families Initiative, which are parents that are learning to build their skills to jump into a career that's lucrative for them and their families. And I find that this setup and this structure will really help them to be able to apply for those job opportunities to really make an impact on their family. I think that was it for me.
Yes, thanks so much, Maureen. That was wonderful. And we really appreciate you lending your expertise there as an award-winning administrator and sharing with us how you feel this will help your adult learners.
Well, and I thank you for the opportunity. This is very exciting.
Thank you. Thank you. And so I'm going to turn this over to Mandy.
Well, hello, everyone. I was watching the people roll in the chat, which made me a little dizzy, Sharon, but and I was trying to find what kinds of programs folks were with. So because what I like to get from a webinar, I like to know as an administrator, what can I start right away? So when we did this pilot project, there was a lot of work that COABE and IBM did behind the scenes. And the whole time I was thinking to myself, how can we make this work in my adult ed program, which is very different from Maureen's, which is why I think COABE collected some folks from around the nation to do the pilot. So in all transparency, I was thinking mostly about adult ed programs and how to use SkillsBuild, at least how to start using SkillsBuild and how you could do that in a large setting. Here, like in community colleges, tech schools, large programs, adult ed programs, all the way down to rural programs. We have programs in Missouri that have very few students and very little access to technology in terms of devices and internet. So I tried to keep in mind some of those things and think about exactly, because this is a huge program, and it's a huge gift, truly, because it's free to all of our adult students. It doesn't require anything but a name and an email to sign in. I thought about it a lot for my advanced ESL students, for things that they could do. Also, here we have an MOS IET, which is Microsoft Office, which you can see there's numerous possibilities. But if you want to go to the next slide, Sharon, this is how I try to think about it in terms of what are the greatest things about this. The greatest things are you have certificates and badges from IBM for free. I mean, is there anything greater than that? So I'm an adult ed program. I'm always looking for things that are free. And this is a great opportunity for our students to see and to learn certain skills, like Maureen said, that's low risk. They can go in over and over again. It validates them because IBM is nationally known, globally known probably. So it's a great opportunity for our students to do things. My suggestion, you create that login and you bookmark that page. I want to give you a little tip if you ever get lost in the software, and East didn't say this, but I sometimes get lost in the platform, and I always go back up and click your learning in the top left of that page, and it will take you right back to your learning page. That's just a tip for you, to always begin with that COABE icon. In terms of adult learning, if you're working with students that speak other languages as their first language, or students that do not have their high school diplomas and are remediating to take their equivalency test, which is our program, I would suggest you always begin with that COABE icon, which has a wonderful learning plan built in. Those videos at the beginning are great. There's relevant learning that addresses all of the 11 skills that Maureen discussed in her list of what employers want, are addressed in the professionalism badge, which is one of the first things that you would see in the COABE Learning channel. It's phenomenal. So the soft skills content is phenomenal. Badges, because that's a big thing now, a big buzz. Our students like to get badges. I know that you can display badges in all sorts of ways, even if you don't have LinkedIn. You also, a lot of our students that are in IET programming in our program create portfolios as they complete their credential, and the badges go right along with the portfolio that they've created that's actually a paper copy. So it can be, it's wonderful that they can be printed. So those are all the wonderful things and some of the tips I have. On the next slide, I'm trying to not take too much time because I know Anais. If you want to go and jump off this webinar and start using SkillsBuild, which I see a lot of excitement in the chat and in the questions, I would say over prepare yourself before you introduce it to a student and know your audience. Now, some of your students, some of those of you that are with colleges or community colleges that are looking at higher level students, students that may be credit students, students that are looking to skill up. Maybe they've been laid off of work or whatever. You may feel comfortable letting them explore on their own. I think a lot of times for adult ed students, I would want my instructors to be over prepared and to have looked at the content and to be ready to give the students a type of orientation, which would include their login, their learning channel, just the navigation. If there's one thing we've learned with using software over the last year, all kinds of software, is that every platform is different. And students need time to get acclimated to just the setup of the software platform. So I would give them some time to do that. I would start small. In our program, we will start small. We will use this and implement it starting in the fall in our integrated education and technology program. So we will be implementing the professionalism badge, which is all of the soft skills that Maureen discussed. We will be building this into that. And our students will be able to use their smartphones. Some of it might get assigned for homework, which I envision. Some of the material will be done as a group lesson. Some of the material will be done individually by each of them as they explore and get comfortable in the learning platform. A lot of this, I think, for those of you that teach ESL or ELL, I think that there's a lot of the content here that you could use for a group lesson with your students at almost any level, even beginners. So I think that's part of the whole over prepare. Go in, look through a lot of the content, look at some of the videos. There are even things that are completely appropriate for staff professional development. In Missouri, our adult educators are certified, and so they have to have a certain amount of professional development a year. And my plan is to have some of the modules in the professionalism badge approved for credit for certification credit for our adult educators. So that there's a myriad of uses. Okay, that's all I have. I'm going to stop now. Thank you, Sharon, and thank you. It's good to see so many folks excited about IBM SkillsBuild because it's extremely exciting.
Thank you, Mandy. That was so helpful. We really appreciate you sharing your thoughts there. And as I mentioned, Maureen and Mandy were two of the 5 pilot programs. We've had a wide variety from across the country. We intentionally chose big and small and rural and urban and all sorts of things to try to make sure that we had a nice swath of the adult ed field. And we're now at the point where we really feel that it's been customized and it's ready to go for the field. So as Anais mentioned, we will automatically register those who are here. We also have in the chat box a lot of questions to get to. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And Mandy, how would you like to tackle these? Would you like me to go ahead and ask you a few of these questions? Do you think that's the best way to go?
I think that's good. I don't know if you're
Great.
I've tried to tackle some,
Okay.
but yeah.
So there's some basic questions about the presentation, getting a certificate. We've already answered that. Yes, everybody will get a certificate that attended. They'll get a copy of the presentation as well. There's a question about whether this is integrated into the Canva platform. My understanding is it is not integrated, but I'll let you answer that.
So no, it's not. I don't want to overpromise. I'm not sure if that's coming or not, but as of now, it's not integrated.
Okay. Reading level of the content for the courses, I believe we were intentional about saying that for the most part, this was for those who are getting their high school equivalency, but there is some lower level as well. So did you want to address that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, it's meant to be as user-friendly as possible. So the language is beginner friendly. It is offered in other languages as well, but we can't guarantee that all of the courses from our content partners will be translated as well, but the platform can be translated into Spanish, Brazilian Portuguese, French, Japanese. I think those are the ones we're confident in right now. We're still trying to translate more and get more languages into the platform.
Great. What are the assessment scores needed to enter the program, such as a CASA score? And I believe that's not even something we've tackled here. It's more about what their proficiency is, their English language proficiency. But would you like to tackle that question?
Yeah, so no requirements, but I would really recommend that if you're interested in registering users to this platform, first get in it yourself and kind of see if you think this is a good fit for your learners, because you'll know their needs better than I will. So definitely get in first and then decide if you think that your adult learners are a good fit for this platform. But we don't have any requirements. That's kind of for you to decide if it's a good fit.
Great. And there's the question here, is access to this platform free to students of COABE members or any students? And so I would just mention that this platform is free. It is free to COABE members and their adult learners, and
Yes.
it's specifically through COABE.
Yes, and I'd like to elaborate on that. So we actually have two versions of the SkillsBuild platform. There's our open version, and then there's the platform that we offer to our nonprofit partners like COABE. The open platform is free for anybody. Anyone can get in and log in that way, but it has a bit less content. We can't do any reporting. We can't customize a learning plan. So you're all invited to COABE's SkillsBuild platform, so that there's a bit of a distinction in how you register. We need to register you first. So after this call, we'll work on getting you set up. Please wait until you get an email from SkillsBuild that confirms you've been registered. But once you get that email, that means that you can get into COABE's platform specifically. And I hope that doesn't get confusing as we bring on learners, but you have access to the best version.
What I love about that is that they will have access to reports to see how their adult learners are progressing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we recommend, first of all, this platform, the COABE version, has been really customized for the field, specifically for adult education. So Anna's right in that you'll have a lot more functionality, but then you also have more customization. So we do really encourage you to go to this link for your adult learners. Great. So we also have another question here asking, is there a requirement of a certain percentage correct on the quizzes or checkup questions through the badge module? And are students allowed to retake it if they don't get enough questions right? Which I think is really good, because I could see this an issue.
Yeah, so students can retake the quizzes as much as they need to. You need, I believe it's just a passing score on the quizzes to progress to the next section, but they're never gonna try to trick you or ask really hard questions. It's really just basic. Did the learner understand this module? It shouldn't be a deterrent to learners, and there's no penalty if they have to retake the quiz a couple of times.
Great. I also see another question here about assigning volunteers to support students and taking the courses first. Absolutely. So all we will need is the list and of who those volunteers will be. I'm going to put the link to the IBM SkillsBuild platform into the chat box again, because when you go there, you'll see there's a template you can download and send into ibmskillsbuild@coabe.org and be able to submit all of those volunteers and adult learners to us, and we'll make sure that they get signed up on the back end. Also, there's a question about, does My Inner Genius connect with the BLS data? I don't know what that means, but maybe you do, Anais.
I'm afraid I'm not sure what that is. So I guess the answer might be no. Yeah, not sure.
I think that's the Bureau of Labor Statistics, Sharon.
Mhm.
So I guess it's asking about, like, is it connected with the labor market stuff? The My Inner Genius, the career assessment, I think specifically, I would guess.
Mhm.
So the one
That's a great question.
thing it does connect in with, it helps them to get onto that career course that they're interested in. And then there are the job boards where they can then find out the jobs that specifically apply to that career path, and they can apply for them. So that way, but it does not, that I know of, on ACE, you can let me know, is it,
Mhm.
it does connect specific Bureau of Labor Statistics. Okay.
Well said.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I'm just,
So I know we only have a few minutes left. I want to make sure everyone's really clear on next steps. So we've said this, but we will be registering all of you to the platform. Hopefully today. It might not be immediate, but we will get to registering all of you to the platform. Once you have that access, get in there, explore a bit, and then, like Sharon said, we have a template for you to fill out to send to which email is it? IBM SkillsBuild at COABE.com.
yep.
And so when you have learners to register, we'll need their full name, their email address, and then who from your program will be managing them. We need at least one name there in that form so we can get them set up correctly and so that you have the right status to manage and view the reports and things.
Great. Thank you, Anais. And I did put into the chat the link for our page. So you can go there. The template is there to download, and you would send it back to IBM SkillsBuild at COABE.org. We will be, as Anais said, from Zoom, it will be an automatic email that goes to everybody that's registered. There's over 600 COABE members that registered for this. So everybody will receive the webinar and information with the different links in there as well. So just so you're aware of that too. Courtney asked, is there a way to track our learners' progress? And so, yes, that would be through the reporting that's available this platform. So that that individual that you assign, Courtney, that's going to be in charge of monitoring that progress is the person who'll be able to download those reports. I'm just reading through these because there's so many, which is wonderful. When you say the badges are industry recognized, does that mean most or many employees recognize the badges and will hire based on them? Are there specific employers that recognize them, or are they widely accepted? Anais, do you want to take that, or would you like me to?
I'll have a go at it. That's a great question. So that's kind of a big piece of the puzzle is we are working to generate more and more awareness to employers around what these badges are, but they do have IBM's name and branding on them. So I think, well, I know that alone does speak volumes, but if there's any way that you can if you have connections with employers in your region, and if you can help connect the dots there as well, that's great. It's just a matter of getting the awareness out.
Great. And everybody knows, I mean, IBM, right? So that's a very well-recognized name, which is another reason why COABE was so interested in this, in addition to the 11,000 credentials and how beautifully articulated the program or the credentials are. So there's another question here that I see it's recurring, and that is, how long will this be available? Because many of our adult ed programs end in May, back up in September. So this will be available, right? Anais, this is it's free. It's free to the teachers, the tutors, the volunteers, the adult learners. Everybody in your program can access this for free, and it's ongoing. So we have come to the top of the hour here. I'm going to take time after this webinar to go back through the questions. Anais and I will get together and we will touch base on those that we can include in the Zoom email out to everybody that are different than the ones we've answered already. But I would like to just take a minute here to ask that you would take our short poll to let us know how you felt this webinar went for you, if it met your expectations or not. Anais, Maureen, or Mandy, any last words for our attendees here?
Thank you so much for being here. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity to learn more about this. We're really excited to implement this.
And thank you to COABE for meeting up with IBM and creating something that can be really phenomenal for anyone in adult ed, honestly,
Thank you.
and for teachers.
It's been our pleasure. We're so grateful that there is this platform. We feel it's really going to help the field, and we have some long-term goals about implementing this all across the field with our teachers, administrators, tutors, all many various ways. But in the meantime, we just want to thank you all for joining us, and just remind you that you will be receiving that email from us very shortly. Thanks, everybody. Bye now.